Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about something that is completely revolutionary, which should transform the way that you manifest. This isn't just another technique. This destroys the need for traditional visualization and it offers the most accurately effective method for manifestation. Now, here's the thing. Because of how important this video is, I've disabled ads. That way you have no distractions as you're watching this. I've also attached a worksheet that you can download along with this video so that it can get instilled into your mind. So make sure you go into the description or the comments and download that. Now, I have taught a lot of people. I've taught New York Times bestsellers. I've taught seven-figure entrepreneurs. I have taught Olympic athletes. A lot of the people that I reference in this are those people. And also, I do a systematic high-level manifestation group once a week in the Patreon. A lot of the people that are in that are those who actually perform these experiments and relay them, and those that are in the Patreon group. Over the recent weeks, I did a test and 45 people participated in it, and 88% of them, 88.6%, after using this technique have manifested what they used inside this technique. This technique is called the bullet list. The bullet list effectively is a way to encapsulate your desires. After rigorous testing and reading a lot of books, and after university with physics and mathematics, I've derived this, which effectively is a combination of all of the spiritual wisdom, all of the experimental results that I've received, not only from myself through thousands of experiments, but those submitted to me. This is what I have found is the most effective tool so far to manifest exact results. Right? A lot of what I teach, I specifically do it to be free from dogma and theoretical beliefs. It's all from experience. You don't have to have belief to use this technique. Specifically, this technique frees you from the standard or common taught, inherently filled with dogma and kind of nonsense type of technique. And instead, this is a very pragmatic, systematic method that essentially has just been derived through correct means. So listen, the landscape today is flooded with clickbait thumbnails, misleading titles designed to grab attention but lacking genuine value. Concepts like quantum jumping and reality swapping are rampant because they generate clicks, not results. What I do is try to teach you the results. If you're interested in very precise methods, make sure you subscribe to my email list. I do not present clickbait stuff. I do not give get-rich-quick schemes. I teach purist manifestations. And unlike the misleading techniques, the bullet list method is grounded in truth. You can test it, put it to the test right now, and watch the results. So diving into it, here's the thing. The technique in and of itself is quite simple. You title a list, and then you write the details of your desire from the perspective of already having fulfilled that desire. It's an encapsulated machine, so to speak, that impresses within the subconscious mind. For example, if you want to create a successful business, you would title My Successful Business, and then underneath it, bullet point, makes me over $3 million net profit take home per year, affords me a lavish income, turns me into an affluent influencer. Or perhaps you want to advance your decision making in your business, right? So label it My Decisions and Actions. You would bullet underneath it, they always profit me. My mind always makes perfect decisions. My confidence is perfect. My thought processes always bring me the ultimate levels of success. To truly illustrate the power of the bullet list, or if you want to, the bullet list method, which is strikingly similar to another technique that I've given, but more direct, I want to talk about one of my clients. So a few years ago, my client found herself stuck in a career rut. She knew she wanted more success, more fulfillment, more confidence. I told her to start using the bullet lists to outline her vision. My entrepreneurial success was what she titled it. And underneath it, she wrote, I achieved a net profit of at least $3 million annually. I live a lavish lifestyle. I became a recognized influencer in my industry. I developed unwavering confidence and success. By writing these in a stream of consciousness mindset, after clearing her mind of clutter, she transformed her entire reality. It was as simple as that. Within 6 months, her business not only exceeded those projections, but they continued on and reached those goals eventually. Another one of my clients, Sarah, she was struggling with her small business. She felt overwhelmed, unsure of how to scale. I introduced her again to this method. She labeled it My Business. She wrote, doubled my revenue within a year, expanded my team, created a strong online presence and brand, and achieved work-life balance. She dedicated herself to the process. She literally sat there and just stream of consciousness wrote it out. She saw not only an increase in her revenue, but her brand presence almost immediately. Now, she didn't hit those immediately and instantaneously, but what happened was her husband had a bright idea. The bright idea gave her the idea for what product to put out. And that product that she put out achieved her a lot of money. And after that, she received a phone call from one of her best friends. And her best friend suddenly told her that her son, who had just graduated university in social media marketing, needed a job. And it was the day that she had reached the goal that she set out in front of her that she knew that she wanted to expand the business. That was when she reached that goal. So it was the perfect moment. The bridge of incidents unfolded perfectly. That is exactly how this happened. Sitting down, clearing your mind, writing down these points, this is the key to doing it. I know it is not what you've heard before. I know this doesn't fit properly with what you have read, and it is so simple to do. But it is just as easy as saying words in your mind. If you followed my videos prior, you have seen just how the subconscious works. When you write down a statement, your subconscious mind perceives it from the perspective as if it's already happened. It's as if your consciousness is leaping into the future temporarily. That's actually what's happening, and then returns to the present. Your mind essentially is a time and dimension traveler. So that is effectively the way that the subconscious works. It, in other words, has the capacity to select dimensions, right? By writing out our imaginal acts, you enter into the quantum field and select the dimension of the things that you wish to experience. In scripture, it says, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it weren't true, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. When I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." The reason this works so powerfully and effectively is because when you write down a thing and you indent underneath the title, the subconscious can remain in context with the thing that you're attempting to manifest. In other words, beforehand, oftentimes what you would do is think of the perfect statement that you could impress your subconscious mind with. You could identify the aspect of your reality that's causing you problems, and then find a perfect statement to counter it and oppose it. And this works amazingly well. But what this does is it circumvents that necessity and creates a cohesive manifestation when you indent and encapsulate the desire in a list in and of itself, a bullet list. It eliminates the struggle of having to find this masterfully perfect statement, this amazingly accurate, complete desire, by easily just listing down the criteria of the thing that you want as if it's already true. That is the criteria, that is the bare essentials for manifesting. Now, here's an amazing example of my own personal story of how I have used a bullet list. Something that I've shared more recently, something you've likely followed along with. And this is how I manifested my future wife. Now, here's the thing. In doing this, at the time, it was not purposely done to manifest the woman that I'm in a relationship now with. But nevertheless, what I did was I entitled the list My Wife. Now, I say I have manifested my future wife by doing this list, because I know the reason that I will get married to this person is because of the list. In the list, I wrote down wife, and underneath I wrote down approximately 100 characteristics of my perfect ideal relationship and the perfect characteristics and traits of my wife. In doing so, it literally was very specific, very generic. It took all the characteristics, concepts, ideals that I knew about what a perfect relationship was, what I knew a perfect woman was, what I knew the perfect experience in life was, partnership was, and I wrote that down one after the next with a clear mind, stream of consciousness, in order. Then all I did was watch how my reality shifted. This is what's fascinating and amazing about this concept. Effectively, prior to revealing this or discovering this, all we knew how to do was construct an imaginal scene, or perhaps affirm something. The context that, as we know, the context of our mind or our attention span does not last a long time. But here's the thing, the subconscious mind has an infinite attention span. We only need to be able to focus our conscious mind long enough to pass it along the information that we need. There's a very specific, exact process to doing this. In our infinite conscious self, which is that of God, all things exist now. All definitions of all words exist. All potential experiences exist. The conscious mind, our human self, the thing that we are still learning how to master as humans in this age, which luckily now we are starting to reveal the truth of manifesting to do this. But what I have discovered through these tests is, like a periscope, we are, when we close our eyes, and with our mind entering into the sphere of infinite consciousness, meaning imagination is like on a submarine, the periscope that comes up and looks above water. That's what the imagination is, except it's going into eternity and selecting the experience, the dimension and potential for us to manifest. Now, there are limitations to that, meaning what is our attention span? What can we memorize enough to bring our imagination to a specific place in order to select that specific reality? Through experimentation, I have found thousands of experiments for myself, a lot of clients, a lot of people who have written in. It's clear, it's obvious that if a scene is too long, the attention span of our human conscious mind does not impress the entirety of the long imaginal act. It impresses pieces at a time. The problem with that, and you'll find this with long imaginal acts, is we will never be able to experience the entirety of an extremely long imaginal act in one shot. For years and years, I have witnessed people struggle and strain to attempt to do this. Some things cannot fit within a short and concise scene. Now, that is what we found to be, and Neville Goddard talks about the perfect way to manifest your desires is to create a short and concise scene that implies you already have what you want, and repeat it over and over and over until your mind is saturated with the thrill of that experience. In other words, you're emulating a reality that really would be happening if you had your desire. And then you bring that into your imagination and replay that over and over until it is experientially real. With this technique, it circumvents the need to have to keep an attention span, to have to master the ability and trait of visualization, and goes into a new, it essentially skips our need to master the control of the attention to select that dimension, and enters into the act of writing. If you're good at entering into the stream of consciousness writing, you will enter into a state automatically when you are looking down at the piece of paper, and you are effectively opening the subconscious mind like a shutter and it's being exposed with all of the different items and attributes that you're listing down. I've tested up to over 100 items in one list, and every single one has either manifested or you can see that it's on its way there. But what the percentage of it that has already manifested when I met Athena was probably, when we talked about it, was probably 85% of them already fully manifested, meaning all the attributes, the characteristics, the way that she lives, the way that she talks, the way that she looks, all of that to an exact T has already manifested. And the rest of it, you can tell, is already on the way. That is just how specific and accurate you can get. Now, what's fascinating and interesting here is that while I was writing the list, there was no forceful experience of emotions. I was not imagining anything. I was not pushing out any emotions or joy or gratitude. This is a repeatable truth that I have witnessed in my experience, that I've passed along to my clients, my viewers over the past 6 years. It's not necessary. Those who push upon you that you need to have feeling, you need to have self-love, you need to have joy, you need to have gratitude, they are limiting themselves. They don't understand the way that manifesting works. Your consciousness is a replicating factory, and your imagination is a time traveler that can travel to that dimension in potential, select that dimension, as long as you can experience it as if it's really happening. And when you do so, you select it, and then you must manifest it. Everywhere that the sole of your foot shall tread, that I have given to you. That is a quote in scripture which refers to your imaginal feet. Everywhere that the sole of your foot shall tread, everywhere that you go in imagination, you must manifest it. And God's word cannot come back unto you void, meaning, since you and your imagination are the word, God is the word, Christ is the word, your imagination is the word, wherever you go in imagination, you must experience that thing. So that is why this technique works exceedingly well. Circumventing your need to control your attention to an extreme degree, to focus upon this imaginal act and force it into the mind's eye. You enter into a state that is basically hypnotic when you're writing down, that allows for the continuous context of an indented list that's titled to get impressed one piece after the other, contextually combined and staying together, meaning all of the different aspects of the list remain together. Even if you do not continuously keep your attention span on it in one long list, like an imaginal act. This is a different method and means to do this. Now, again, the specific way to do this, title the list. Title the list. Title it as something. My wife, in this case, and then I wrote down many different attributes. We are this. She has this attribute. Her and I have perfect communication. She and I grow together forever. Like all these different attributes that would define the perfect relationship. Or in business, all the different attributes as you write down, right? My entrepreneurial career, or my level of success, or my level of confidence. And you write down all the different attributes that would define that reality that you wish to have. That is how you perform this bullet list. That is the silver bullet list of manifesting. This will get you whatever you want. There is no thing that is too big, too long, too complex. For those of you who have a manifestation that you are finding difficult to combine together in a statement or a series of imaginal acts to impress, to manifest it, this is the key. This is the way. Performing this will get you your manifestation. There is nothing that can stop you from getting it. No, this is not like anything you've heard, because this has not come from anywhere that you've heard. This is not coming from a source that you've read. This is not coming from a source that you have witnessed. This is coming through thousands of experiments over the course of my manifestation career, and those who have worked with me, those in the Patreon, those who have worked one-on-one with me. This is the pinnacle of truth. Manifestation is systematic. It is data-driven. Many people are not yet up to speed with the fact of how this works. Many are still working on archaic techniques and methods, passing those along. Joy is not the key to manifesting. Gratitude is not the key to manifesting. Emotion is not the key to manifesting. Experiencing in the imagination something that would be happening if you really had it is the key. So breaking down this list into the sum of its parts, what's happening is the thoughts that would be happening internally if you were to be discussing with another person the reality in front of you. That is what is being impressed. In other words, if the list itself manifested, you will come to a time in space where you are explaining what your life is like to a person, and you will list off all those characteristics. That is the way that this works. That is how the list replicates on the screen of space. Simply put, this is the key. List down the attribute that you wish to explain. My perfect marriage, my amazing business, my sheer fame, my perfect body, and then list down the attributes and characteristics that describe it as if it's already happening. Do not write it in future tense. Write it as if it's true now. Don't write it saying it will be this. That's not manifesting. That's something entirely not manifesting. Write it down as I am this, I have this, it is like this, we are like this. This is the way she is. This is the way I am. You're simply deriving an inventory of the reality that you wish to experience and jotting it down in front of you. Effectively, you're entering into the future, selecting that. This is what's happening within the realm of consciousness. When you begin to write, your imagination and consciousness is leaving present moment. It's elevating to a higher state and entering into a reality where you already have it. And at that moment, in imagination, you're jotting down this reality. Your consciousness doesn't think that you're sitting down right here thinking about what you want. It literally is entering into a reality temporarily where it's writing down the truth of what is currently. Meaning, if you were capable of becoming aware in that experience where you're writing it down and looking around, you would already be in that world. Unfortunately, that's just in the world of potential. That's in the quantum field. So when you lift up the pen, your consciousness and reality jolts back into this present moment, but you've marked that reality. And in marking that reality, there's nothing you can do to prevent you from receiving it, because like I said, God's word cannot come back unto you void. That is the process. That is the way. If you're interested in this, like I said, please download the worksheet associated with this. We'll help you understand these concepts, and we'll put them in plain English right in front of your face. Alternatively, I do have a Patreon group where you can interact with me, and a high-level mastermind group, depending on the tier or level that you are interested in. But that can help you understand these concepts furthermore. And within that group, in the Discord, which is a chat room that is vetted, there are carefully vetted individuals that are allowed into these certain groups. That is who you will be interacting with. No trolls, no victims. These are people who are actively, intelligently manifesting their desires using very specific frameworks. It's the upper echelon of manifestors. People have been doing this for a long time, or who have their whole heart in this. That's who I choose to associate with. And you know that whoever you associate with, you are going to manifest lives of similar nature. So listen, if you want to manifest your desires, subscribe to my channel. I break down manifestation techniques and tactics in data-driven, futuristic, true, utilizable methods that can be put to the test and proven immediately. What I teach is all derived from segmented experiments. I have, for the last 12 years, engaged in tens of thousands of experiments, many of which I teach you how to do as well. But it's not from the hundreds of books that I've read. It's not from the math and the physics that I cross-reference with. It's from the original source. So subscribe to manifest your true core desires, and use this technique, and comment below to tell me how it worked for you, which it will work. Excuse me.
How was it?